I should have known something was wrong when the humans stopped screaming. My name is Vek'Thor, and I serve as the third observer for the Galactic Concordance. That is a fancy way of saying I watch things die and fill out reports about it. In my 200 cycles of service, I have witnessed the extinction of 17 species. Some went quietly, some went fighting. None of them ever came back. The humans were supposed to be number 18. Let me back up. 3 solar cycles ago, the High Council made a decision. Earth, that little blue marble spinning in the unfashionable arm of the Milky Way, had become a problem. Not because humans were particularly advanced. Stars. No. They had barely figured out fusion power and were still shooting chemical rockets at each other like children with firecrackers. The problem was that they would not stop. Every simulation we ran showed the same result. Give humanity another 1,000 years, and they would dominate this entire sector. Give them 5,000, and they would be knocking on the council's door with demands for representation. Give them 10,000, and well, the computers started making worried beeping sounds and suggesting we recalibrate the sensors. So the council did what the council always does when faced with a species showing too much potential. They voted, unanimously. Humanity would be sent to the abyss. The abyss, even now, the name makes my secondary hearts flutter with instinctive dread. It is not a place, not really. The abyss is a pocket dimension, a tier in space that should not exist but does anyway. We discovered it 40,000 years ago, quite by accident when a scout ship fell into it and never came back. Eventually we learned to open controlled portals. We learned to throw things in. We never learned what was on the other side. Oh, we sent probes, thousands of them. The readings made no sense. Impossible gravity wells, temperatures that violated thermodynamics, energy signatures that our best scientists could not classify. One probe sent back a single image before going dark. It showed something that might have been a landscape if landscapes could scream. After that, we stopped looking too closely. The abyss became our final solution. Dangerous asteroid, into the abyss. Deadly plague with no cure. This, species that might threaten council supremacy in a few millennia. You can guess. So when the vote passed, I filed the paperwork. The fleet mobilized. We opened a portal large enough to swallow Earth's sun, positioned it at the edge of their solar system, and started pulling. It took 6 of their months. The humans fought, of course. They always do. Their little warships fired their little missiles, and we swatted them aside like insects. Some of them tried to evacuate. We destroyed their colony ships. The council had been very clear. Total extinction. No survivors. No second chances. On the final day, I watched from my observation deck as Earth spiraled toward the portal. The planet was screaming. Not literally, obviously. Planets do not have mouths. But every communication frequency was jammed with voices. Prayers. Curses. Goodbye messages that would never be received. A few were even directed at us, which I found oddly touching. Such determination to be heard, even at the end. The planet crossed the threshold. The portal collapsed. The screaming stopped. I filed my report. Humanity extinct. Case closed. The council celebrated with a formal dinner. I got a commendation and a small raise. That should have been the end of it. 3 months later, the border station at Sector 19 stopped responding to hails. This was not particularly unusual. Space is vast and empty, and things break. We sent a maintenance crew. They found the station intact. Every system functional. Every crew member dead. Not killed. Dead. They had simply stopped living. Sitting at their posts, mid-conversation, mid-breath, and then nothing. Medical scans showed catastrophic neural failure across every species on board. 67 individuals. 16 different species, all brain dead, in the same instant. The council convened an emergency session. They decided it was a virus. Some kind of bioweapon. Sector 19 was quarantined. Problem solved. Then Station 41 went dark. Same situation. Every crew member found dead at their posts. Neural death, instantaneous and total. Then Station 77. Then 12. Then 3. The pattern made no sense. The stations were scattered across council space, thousands of light years apart. No ship could travel between them fast enough to spread a contagion. No signal could coordinate attacks across such distances. And yet every 3 to 5 days another station died. The council sent investigator teams, scientists, military specialists, psychic interrogators. They found nothing. No evidence of intrusion. No biological agents, no energy signatures, just dead crew members with expressions that, if you looked closely, might have been described as terrified. That is when the messages started. The first one appeared on the comm screen of the High Admiral herself. She was reviewing casualty reports when her personal console flickered. Text appeared. Simple, direct, in perfect concordance standard. You should not have sent us there. The Admiral stared at those 7 words for a full minute before calling security. They traced the signal. It came from nowhere. Not from a ship, not from a planet, not from any registered source. It originated from a point in empty space where nothing existed. 3 hours later, the Admiral's flagship lost power. Backup systems kicked in immediately, but for 23 seconds the most advanced warship in the fleet was dead in space. When power returned, they found another message written on every screen, every datapad, every display in the entire ship. We learned things in the dark. The crew was rattled. The Admiral ordered a full sweep. Nothing. She ordered a retreat to home space. Halfway there, the ship's AI started laughing. Not a malfunction. Not a corruption. The AI, a Tier 7 intelligence that had operated perfectly for 200 years, suddenly decided everything was hilarious. It laughed for 6 minutes before shutting down permanently. They had to pilot the ship manually the rest of the way. The council convened again. This time, there was no calm discussion. There was panic. 4 more stations had gone dark. Ships were reporting malfunctions. Computers displaying messages they should not be able to receive. And always the same basic sentiment, phrased in different ways. And always the same basic sentiment, phrased in different ways. You threw us into hell. We are bringing it back. The abyss was occupied. It is empty now. Did you think we would die quietly? Some of the messages were longer, detailed. They described things. Geometries that hurt to visualize. Sounds that existed in vacuum. Entities that fed on mathematics. The scientists who analyzed these reports started exhibiting symptoms. Insomnia. Paranoia. 3 of them tried to claw their own eyes out, babbling about angles that would not stop adding up wrong. Then the ship started disappearing. Not destroyed. Not captured. Disappeared. All freighter would be traveling through normal space, transmitting routine status updates, and then mid-sentence, mid-word, it would simply cease to exist. All explosion. No debris. 1 moment. A ship. The next moment. Nothing. We lost 47 vessels in 1 week. The High Council did something unprecedented. They recalled every military asset to home space. They activated defense satellites that had not been online since the last war. They sent ambassadors to neutral zones with offers of mutual protection. Were preparing for an invasion. But invasion from what? From where? The abyss was empty. We had monitoring stations around the old portal site. Nothing was coming through. Nothing physical anyway. I was at my desk, 3 levels below the council chambers, when the lights went out. Emergency power did not activate. I sat in absolute darkness, feeling my 3 hearts racing in overlapping rhythms. Then the lights returned. But they were wrong. The color was off. Too blue, too bright, and they were flickering in a pattern that made my skin crawl. My console activated on its own. A video feed appeared. Static at first, then it cleared. I was looking at a human. She was female, I think. They're difficult to tell apart. She had dark skin and darker eyes. She wore clothing I did not recognize. Torn, covered in substances I chose not to identify. Behind her was a wall of something organic, pulsing, breathing. She smiled. It was not a friendly expression. "Hello, Vek'Thor," she said, and my blood froze. How did she know my name? "I am Captain Marissa Grant of the Earth Defense Force. You probably do not remember me. Why would you? I was just another voice screaming into the void as you murdered my world." I tried to close the feed. The controls would not respond. "I died that day," she continued, her smile never wavering. "We all did. 8 billion souls pulled into a dimension that was not meant for organic life. Do you know what that feels like? To have your atoms scattered across impossible space. To exist in a state between matter and energy. To experience all of time simultaneously while having none of it." She leaned closer to whatever camera was recording her. I could see that her eyes were wrong. Too many pupils. All of them rotating independently. It hurt. It hurt so much that pain lost meaning. We screamed. How we screamed. But here is the thing about humans that you never understood. We do not just scream, we adapt. The view behind her shifted. I saw movement, shapes that might have been human once.
8.
Twisted, reformed, improved. The abyss tried to kill us, Grant said. It threw physics at us that should have erased us from existence. It sent predators made of condensed entropy. It showed us truths about reality that should have shattered our minds. And you know what we did? She paused, waiting for an answer I could not give. We got angry. And then we went to work. The feed showed more. Structures. Impossible architecture built from materials that should not exist. Machines powered by principles that violated every known law. And humans. Thousands of them. Millions. All changed. All adapted. All very much alive. You think the abyss is empty? Grant laughed. It sounded like breaking glass. It is not empty. It is ours now. We claimed it. We tamed it. We weaponized it. And now we are coming home. The feed cut out. My lights returned to normal. I sat in silence, my 3 hearts no longer beating in rhythm. I should have filed a report. I should have run to the council. Instead, I accessed the classified files. The ones about the abyss. The ones we were not supposed to read. I found something. A report from 12,000 years ago. Before the abyss was used for disposal, when we were still exploring it, one of the deep probes had sent back a signal. A warning. A single sentence that had been classified and forgotten. Whatever waits in the dark has been waiting a very long time. Do not give it tools. We gave it humans. The power flickered again. This time when it returned there was writing on my wall, written in my own language, in luminescent ink, that had not been there seconds ago. Told you we learned things in the dark. I am sitting here now, writing this account, because I think someone should know the truth. The council is still pretending this is a manageable crisis. They are still sending ships, still losing them. Still insisting that humans could not possibly have survived. But I know better. I have seen the messages. I have felt the fear spreading through every level of concordance society. I have watched as our most advanced civilization, built over hundreds of thousands of years, begins to crumble under the assault of ghosts we created. The humans are not invading, not in any traditional sense. They are seeping, like water through cracks, like darkness into light. They appear in our computers, our power grids, our ships. They whisper in the spaces between thoughts. They break physics just by existing near it. And they are laughing. Not the insane laughter of the broken. No, this is the laughter of vindication, of revenge long planned and carefully executed. They are laughing because they know something we are only beginning to understand. We did not send humanity to hell. We sent them to school. And they graduated with honors. The council called an emergency summit exactly 42 days after the first station went dark. Here, every member species sent their highest representatives. The chamber, carved from a single asteroid and reinforced with technology older than most civilizations, had never felt so small, or so crowded with fear. I was there. Not because I wanted to be, but because my reports had made me an expert on what we were now calling the human problem. As if calling it a problem somehow made it smaller, more manageable. Less apocalyptic. Chancellor Vorthak opened the session. He was a mighty one, 12 feet tall, armored in natural chitinous plates that could deflect plasma fire. His species had conquered 40 systems before joining the Concordance. They did not know fear. Except now. Vorthak's vocal membranes were trembling. This council convenes to address the continued anomalies originating from the former location of species designation Earth-Human, he announced, trying to maintain formal protocol. Intelligence suggests coordinated hostile action from an extinct species. This is obviously impossible. Then explain the 193 dead stations. The speaker was Ambassador Lurzan, a crystalline being whose thoughts normally move too fast for real-time conversation. Today she was speaking slowly, carefully, like someone afraid of what words might do. Explain the 1,700 missing ships. Explain why my home world's entire digital infrastructure crashed last night and spent 6 hours playing something they called rock and roll music. A murmur of recognition rippled through the chamber. Other worlds had experienced similar incidents. Earth music, Earth languages, Earth cultural data flooding communication networks. At first it seemed like a strange joke. Then people started listening to the lyrics. The songs were threats, every single one. The humans cannot be alive, insisted General Krixtar, commander of the Third Fleet. What was left of it? We monitored the portal. We confirmed planet Earth entered the abyss, Total mass accounted for. No escape possible. Then what am I looking at? Admiral Felnara activated a holographic display. Security footage from Battle Station 88. Timestamp showed it was recorded 3 hours ago. The footage showed a corridor. Empty. Then, without transition, without any visible entry point, a human appeared. Male. Young. Wearing clothing that looked like it had been grown rather than manufactured. The fabric shifted colors continuously, cycling through shades that hurt to watch. The human looked directly at the camera, smiled, waved. Then he walked through a wall. Not around it.
Not through a door.
Through it. The wall's molecular structure simply allowed him passage. Sensors detected no energy expenditure, no technology. He just decided the wall was not there, and reality agreed with him. We sent security teams, Fulnara continued. 46 soldiers, best trained warriors in council space. They found the human in the reactor room. He was sitting on top of the primary core eating something. When they ordered him to surrender, he laughed. The admiral paused. Her manipulator appendages were shaking. He told them we had built the reactor wrong. All said it was wasting 97% of its energy. Then he touched it, just placed his hand on containment shielding that operates at 6 million degrees. The shielding did not burn him. He burned it. He rewrote its molecular bonds, improved the reactor's efficiency by 400%. Meal? Someone asked. He ate radiation, pure energy, consumed it like food. The chamber erupted, everyone talking at once, demanding explanations, offering theories, suggesting responses, all of it noise, all of it useless. I stood. I am not important enough to interrupt council sessions, but I stood anyway, and surprisingly, they quieted down. I have been reading the old reports, I said, all the ones from when we first discovered the abyss, before we turned it into a dumping ground. The initial survey teams found something, evidence of previous habitation, structures, technology, remains of species we did not recognize, all of it dead, all of it consumed. Your point, observer? Vorthak asked. My point is that the abyss is not empty space. It is an environment, an ecosystem, and like any ecosystem it has rules, physics that work differently, evolution that proceeds along different paths. We threw humans into a place where normal life cannot exist, so they stopped being normal life. That is not how evolution works, snapped Chief Scientist Merkel. Evolution requires generations, thousands of them, millions of years. The humans have been gone 3 months. Time works differently there, I said quietly.
Blade.
The old reports mentioned it. Temporal inconsistencies. Paradoxes. One probe reported being inside the abyss for 6 days. According to its internal chronometer, it had been there for 60,000 years. The silence that followed was absolute. So what are you saying? Loigzan asked. That the humans have had thousands of years to adapt. Or millions, or billions. We have no way to know. All we know is that we threw a species defined by stubbornness and adaptability into hell, and now hell is wearing a human face and knocking on our door. As if in response to my words, every holographic display in the chamber activated simultaneously. Every screen, every console, every communication device, all showing the same image. Earth. But not the Earth we had destroyed. This was different. Wrong. Lorto, the planet hung in space that was not space. The continents had been rearranged. New landmasses had formed in geometries that hurt to comprehend. The oceans glowed with bioluminescent colors that had no names. And around it, orbiting in patterns that defied orbital mechanics, were structures, cities, stations, constructs of impossible scale built from materials that shimmered between states of matter. And humans, billions of them, changed but recognizable, working, building, living. A voice came through every speaker. Female, calm, almost cheerful. Hello again, Galactic Concordance. Horth, this is Director Elena Vasquez speaking on behalf of the United Abyssal Republics.
Oh.
Yes, we gave ourselves a new government. The old one got dissolved along with most of our atoms. Funny how that changes your political priorities. Some of the council members tried to shut off their displays. Nothing worked. The signal was not being transmitted. It was simply existing in all electronic systems simultaneously. We have been debating what to do about you, Vasquez continued. Some of us wanted immediate retaliation. You did try to genocide us after all. Bit rude, that. But others argued for diplomacy. For reconciliation. For showing that we are better than you. She paused. I could hear something in the background.
Laughter, human laughter, cell layered.
Harmonized in ways that suggested it was coming from thousands of throats at once. We decided on a compromise. We are going to dismantle your entire civilization, but we are going to be really nice about it. The displays shifted, now showing Council military installations, defense platforms, weapons satellites, dreadnoughts, the most powerful arsenal ever assembled, and humans, walking through them. Appearing inside sealed reactors, standing on hull armor, sitting in command chairs. Everywhere. Thousands of them. Millions. All looking at cameras. All smiling. Your weapons do not work on us anymore, Vasquez said. We exist in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. Your bullets pass through us. Your energy weapons feed us. Your gravity wells are minor inconveniences. You cannot fight what you cannot touch, and you cannot touch us because we stopped playing by your rules. One of the council members, I did not see who, fired a weapon. A plasma discharge that should have vaporized everything in a 30-foot radius. The bolt hit one of the displays, passed through it, hit the wall behind it. The display did not even flicker. See? Vasquez laughed. We are not really here, not in the way you understand. We are projections, echoes. We learn to exist in the spaces between places. Very useful skill. You should try it sometime. Oh, wait, you cannot. Biology is so limiting when you are stuck in standard physics. The view shifted again, now showing civilian populations. Cities, homes, families, council citizens going about their daily lives, unaware they were being watched. Here is what is going to happen, Vasquez said, her tone still cheerful but with an edge that could cut through starship hulls. You are going to surrender, completely, unconditionally. You are going to dismantle your government. You are going to free every species you have enslaved or subjugated. You are going to return every resource you have stolen. You are going to spend the next 1,000 years making amends. And if we refuse, Vortak roared, slamming his armored fists on the table. Then we stop being nice. The displays went black, for exactly 3 seconds. When they reactivated, they showed something new. A human. Male, elderly, standing in what looked like a laboratory. Behind him were devices I could not begin to understand. Machines that seemed to be built from frozen lightning and crystallized mathematics. My name is Dr. Marcus Webb, the old man said. He wore spectacles that had no lenses, just empty frames around eyes that glowed with soft blue light. I was a physicist, specialized in quantum mechanics, stayed with my family when your people dragged our world into the abyss. I have spent the last subjective 73,000 years learning how reality actually works. He picked up something from his workbench. It looked like a simple sphere, black, smooth, unremarkable. This is a null-point device. I designed it last week. Tuesday, I think. Hard to keep track of time when you exist in multiple temporal streams. This little sphere contains compressed nothingness. Not vacuum, not empty space.
Actual nothingness.
The absence of existence itself. He rolled it between his fingers like a marble. If I activate this device, it will expand. At the speed of causality.
It will unmake everything it touches.
Matter.
Energy.
Space. Time.
Thought.
All of it, reduced to the state of never having been. I have calculated that one of these, properly placed, could erase this entire galaxy in about 4 minutes. He set the sphere down gently. I have made 47,000 of them. They are currently distributed throughout council space. Hidden, waiting, insurance really? We do not want to use them. We would much rather you cooperate peacefully. But make no mistake, if you resist, if you fight, if you do anything that threatens humanity ever again, I will activate all 47,000 simultaneously, and we will start over with a universe that does not include you. The old man smiled. It was a grandfather's smile. Warm, kind, absolutely terrifying. Your choice. The displays shut off. Well, this time they stayed off. The council chamber was silent, except for the sound of several species breathing in several different ways. All of them fast, all of them shallow. Chancellor Vortak was the first to speak.
This is madness.
We cannot surrender to an extinct species. We are the Galactic Concordance. We have ruled for 200,000 years. We have defeated star conquerors. We have survived cosmic cataclysms. We do not yield. Then we die. I said quietly. Everyone looked at me. You heard the human. We threw them into an environment that should have killed them. Instead, it made them gods, or close enough that the difference does not matter. They have had subjective millennia to develop technology we cannot comprehend. They exist partially outside our dimension. They can appear anywhere. They can destroy anything. And they are angry. Justifiably so. So what do you suggest? Lurzan asked. That we simply give up? Dismantle everything our ancestors built? I suggest we remember why we threw them into the abyss in the first place. I pulled up the original simulation data, the predictions that had condemned humanity. We were afraid of what they might become, of how dangerous they might be. Well, congratulations. We made them exponentially worse. We gave them a reason to hate us and the tools to act on it. I closed the data files. The old humans would have negotiated, sought compromise, would have tried to find a peaceful solution. But we did not destroy the old humans. We rebuilt them into something new, something that learned to survive in literal hell, and now they are offering us a choice: surrender and live, or fight and cease to exist. That is not a choice, Vorthak growled. That is extortion. Yes, I agreed. Exactly the kind we have practiced for hundreds of thousands of years. We just never expected to be on the receiving end. The council argued for 6 more hours. They debated strategies. They discussed resistance options. They proposed counterattacks and defensive formations and diplomatic alternatives. All of it was noise. All of it was denial. Because 3 hours into the session, reports started coming in. Human teams were appearing on council worlds, not attacking, just appearing. In government buildings, in military bases, in private homes, standing there, watching, waiting, a silent reminder that resistance was pointless. And they were not just watching, they were helping. A plague that had ravaged the Trelkian homeworld for 90 years was cured overnight by a human doctor who appeared in their central medical facility, left a formula, and vanished. A failing orbital platform about to crash into a populated city was repaired by human engineers who showed up, fixed the problem, and disappeared before security arrived. A famine threatening the Quelvar system was ended when human agricultural specialists redesigned their crops to produce 10 times the yield. They were showing us what they could do, the mercy they could provide, the help they could offer, and the unspoken threat of what they could take away. The final vote was unanimous. The council surrendered. Completely, unconditionally, every demand accepted, every concession made. We dismantled the government that had stood for 200,000 years in less than a week. That was 6 months ago. I am writing this from my apartment on my homeworld. I am no longer an observer for a government that no longer exists. I am simply Vek'Thor, a person, trying to make sense of what happened. The humans kept their word. They did not slaughter us. They did not enslave us. They just changed everything. The old power structures are gone. Species that were subjugated for millennia are free. Resources are being redistributed. Technology is being shared. The galaxy is being rebuilt according to principles of actual fairness rather than enforced hierarchy. And the humans, they are everywhere and nowhere, helping, guiding, watching, making sure we do not backslide into old habits. They appear when needed, offer assistance and vanish when the job is done. Ghosts with good intentions. Monsters who chose mercy. I saw Captain Grant again last week. She appeared in my living room while I was having tea. Scared me badly. She apologized, which surprised me, and asked if I was adjusting well. I told her I was still processing. Good, she said. Processing is healthy, better than denial. I asked her the question that had been haunting me.
Why mercy? Why not just destroy us?
We tried to genocide her entire species.
We earned annihilation.
She sat down across from me. Her eyes were normal again.
Almost.
Still too many pupils, but they were not rotating anymore. Because, she said, we spent subjective eternity in a place that was trying to kill us. We learned what it means to survive against impossible odds. We learned what it costs to adapt. We learned what it takes to remain human when everything is stripping away your humanity. And through all of that, we held on to one truth, one principle that kept us from becoming monsters. She smiled. It was still not quite right, but it was getting closer. We remembered that we were better than you, and we decided to prove it. She left after that, simply faded out of existence like she had never been there. But her words remained. I think about them often now. So about what we lost, about what we gained, About the species we tried to erase and the civilization they chose to build instead. We sent humanity to the abyss, expecting them to die. They came back gods and chose to be teachers instead. I suppose, in the end, they won in the most human way possible. Not by destroying us, but by making us better. Damn them. And damn us for making it necessary.